Hey guys, IceCube here from Gamebug.com.au. Thanks for clicking play and welcome to our Let's Play Dark Souls 3. I did this little playthrough at Bandai Namco's office and I'm actually just watching an edited version of my own video and I'm going to be talking over the top of it, see if I can break down a few things for you. So as you can see, I've just jumped straight to the character creation page and I just wanted to show you a little look of what this is all about and what you're going to see when the game comes out very shortly. So yeah, we've got the name Gamebug, which we've gone with. We're gone with a female for the gender because I think most of the other videos out there will probably just go with a male. Age, we went for young, and now we're looking at the different classes. If ever you want to, just take a quick good look at some of these characters and the default statistics, just feel free to hit pause on the video for a slow down look. I'm just going to scroll down, as you can see, and just do everything kind of one by one, just so you can, get a good look at each one, so you can make up your mind when you get your turn to play the game yourselves. So I'm going to go with this Herald here for my gameplay run through, which I think you'll see me select in just a minute. No reason for the decision, just thought, hey, that's kind of interesting. I haven't used a spear in a while, and I usually like doing the builds that involve a shield, which is why I wasn't so crash hot at first with Bloodborne, because it's pretty much a shieldless game, for most part anyway. So it's good to have that back. Now these are the burial gifts. Again, I'm not going to sit here reading all that to you, but there's a few little interesting quirky things in here. I can't remember which one I went for here, but again, if you want to take a good read at some of these things, just hit the pause button and you can have a read of it. I think in the end I went with the fire gem because that sounded like it would be quite interesting. A few familiar things here: the life ring, which seems to make every single Souls game. What else is there? The black firebomb as well. That's a familiar one from the last two Dark Souls games, I believe. Rusted gold coin, kind of a fairly useless sort of thing. And young white branch, I think we saw in or something very similar to that in Dark Souls 2. Also the cracked red eye orb as well, that's also a familiar one. So once I've had a read at that, I think I chose the fire gem, which I did, yeah. And here's a quick look at the visual improvements this game has. It still looks a little bit underwhelming, the facial creation page, as you can kind of see through these facial presets that I'm going through right now. That one's hilarious, the Great Swamp Outcast. So yeah, all sorts of colours and looks. I don't think you can get anyone that you'll be truly happy with, to be honest, but you just have to pick the closest thing you can find. I think I just went with the default one. Yeah, you'll see very soon that there's much more detail, at least in terms of customization. You can do so many more things. At the moment, I'm just going through the different body types. So these are all fairly familiar to you guys. Just went with a very boring slim. And here we go into things like the voice, the physique. This stuff's all new, and this stuff's really quite interesting. You can really tinker around with stuff. I didn't really tinker around with it too much in this. Just I've got a limited recording space, and just wanted to give you a quick look at the kinds of things that you can do here. See, look at these skin color layers. It's much improved from before. I thought, interestingly, the cosmetics and the tattoos, this is something that they've definitely not gone near before, and I'm tinkering with a few little things like eyeliner and just to see what it looks like. And yeah, it's good that you can do these things now. I mean, it's not every day you see Dark Souls people appearing in their world with makeup on and mascara and eyeliner and blush, all the things that you need to impress the demon lords. But the tattoos, on the other hand, you're about to see now are pretty cool. I mean, they look really kind of gothic and, like you're part of some kind of evil cult. So I just kind of chose one of the first ones I saw, and fairly happy with how that looks. You can also save it to your favorites too, so if you want to redesign a character, you can just kind of load up that favorite and go ahead with the game. So, jumping into the game now, this is... I skipped a little bit just because it was a bit slow to load and a bit slow to get the video going. So here we go. That's the tail end of that video. There's a lot of dialogue and old women whispering words of old days and stuff. So Cemetery of Ash. This is the first place that you're going to start the game at. And just taking a quick look around and testing out the weapons. This is the R1 strike on the PlayStation controller. Holding down the R2, this is with a spear of course. That's the shield, block with the L1 and parry with the L2. Dodge, roll with the circle button. I wasted an Estus flask right there with the square button, and the triangle button there changes to using the weapon two-handed, which does more damage if you do it like that, but you lose some defense. So the game starts off with a few default messages that are on the floor that are set up by the CPU. As you can see here, they're just the basic tutorial messages, and I pretty much know this stuff. I've finished all the previous Souls games before, including Demon Souls, which not many people have. And here's our first enemy. He's a little bit Bloodborne-like, and I think you'll find this game has quite a few Bloodborne references in it. So they took a few notes from how that game performed, and a few of the little things that they did. You'll probably notice them yourself. I'll point them out to you as you see them. But yeah, a few kind of cultists popping up here at the beginning, and again, I kind of went through this game. I have a tendency to explore quite a bit, wander off to the sides, look for hidden nooks and crannies, and if you want to know what the item is that I picked up, I don't really stop and look at it. I just kind of pick it up and keep going. So feel free to just, again, pause it, take a look at what it is, and find out more once you play the game yourself a bit later on. Having said that, most of the stuff I pick up in the early stage of the game, it's stuff that you've probably seen in the previous games as it is. So as you can see here, I'm just doing a little bit of exploring. Here's a laughable attempt at a parry, and I'm awful at parrying in this game. I pressed the button, I swear, it just didn't look like it. But yeah, there you go, see, very, very late parry. So yeah, and also the kick. I'm pretty good at the kick. I'm usually good at kicking when I don't need a kick. But yeah, there you go, I managed to do it there. So yeah, you can watch me try a few more parries later on. I think I give up pretty quickly though. I think I've finished every single Souls game without using a parry once, and even there I should have done a backstab, but I failed at that as well. There's a bit of a learning patch. Even though I've played so many of these games, I still find that you get a bit rusty when you haven't played one for a little while. So again, yeah, a few little control instructions on the floor as you go along. What I've done with this playthrough as well is I've fast-forwarded bits. I've clearly fast-forwarded bits where it's just a bit boring or mundane. So, we can just get straight to the point, get to the stuff that you want to see. A lot of these Let's Plays, they just kind of, sit you through the tedium of like scrolling through the inventory and stuff like that. I'll skip through that where possible. But at the same time, there is a bit later in this episode where I will go through the inventory and what you consider the town, where we can explore that a little bit as well. Here's a little message called "Pull Back," which is not done by an online person. It's there done by the computer as a warning for you to pull back right now. So me just being rather stupid, think what the hell? I'm just going to charge forward in to see whatever this thing is that I'm meant to be pulling back from, and you're going to get a wonderful look at it right now. It's like some kind of weird ice dog centipede. I think is probably the best way I can describe it. Once I've finished doing my little exploring around the corner, you'll see it. Here we go. He's a little bit excited to see me, and so you get a first taste of a boss battle here. Now he's not too difficult, as you'll find. I actually beat him on my first go, which is weird because a second ago I couldn't even parry a normal guy. So, but maybe it was luck, maybe it was experience. He's definitely not recommended to go and visit right now. It was not the smartest move, to be honest. But then again, if I can do it, you guys can do it too. As you can see, he just shoots a lot of ice. In fact, he actually looks a bit like a kind of smaller version of a big boss that we'll see later on in part 2 of these videos. Obviously, you're going to encounter more of these later in the game. It's just that type of character. Like, they usually chuck one of these big bad boys at the start of these games. I think there was some kind of, I can't remember, it was like a giant or a cyclops or something that was sitting there at the beginning of the first game, which you'd struggle to beat if you tried. So here we go. This is one of these fast forward moments I told you about. Soul of an Unknown Traveler is what you get for beating that one. Plus, a little bit of credibility for defeating a boss so early in the game, if that's what you call it. I don't know if you'd actually call it a boss really, but excuse me. So here we go into the real world with a beautiful, typical Dark Souls landscape. We will see more of that in a minute, but that's just Dark Souls to a T. It's just one of the things I love about these games. The wonderful landscapes and settings. It's just so underrated, but just awe-inspiring to look at. It just adds to the atmosphere. And here's your first bonfire. So if you've played any Souls games before, you're going to know what the bonfires do. Bonfires are probably the greatest sight in these games. Once you see a bonfire, you basically can bank your souls. Usually transport between bonfires, depending which game you're talking about. And you can usually trade in your souls so you can level up, so you don't waste all the souls that you've collected on your journey. Also, if you die, that's where you'll respawn. So here we go into the first kind of main area that's outside of the tutorial. Again, me trying a parry right there and just failing miserably. I really wanted to just give it a go while the game is supposedly easy, and I still can't get it right. So if you can master the parry, more kudos to you. I got a friend who just kind of lived off the parry, and that's what's great about Dark Souls, is that it just suits so many different play styles. I think I found with Bloodborne it's pretty much just one play style and that's it. Give or take some slight variations, but with Dark Souls there's so many different types of characters you'll encounter. So again, a bit of fast forwarding. In case I just go wandering to a dead end, I'll fast forward it so I don't waste too much time. But you will discover a few little kind of secret little paths and such by watching this. There's a few little things that surprised me, but like this little one here, I was about to think that was a dead end, but ended up taking me down to this little place here where there's a couple of more little cultists, if that's what you call them. These ones carrying a shield are quite annoying, as you'll find out. I do struggle with them a few times. They shouldn't be too bad. They really shouldn't. I've fought enough of them in the past. Okay, I may have spoke too soon with that guy, but there are more coming up that you'll kind of laugh at how bad I am against them. This is all for one little item stashed down here, which I can't even remember what the item is, but Firebomb, there you go. I mean, ultimately, by the end of the game, you'll probably stack up on Firebombs anyway, but at the start, it's also special. Now, this is kind of fast-forwarding back to where I should have been, which is the way forward. Taking out this archer guy and getting sprung from behind by another guy. Obviously, this place is just loaded with these cultist types, and Fading Soul, that's basically souls that you can bank and then, activate when you need it. Now, here's your first proper boss fight, guys. Can't remember his name, he's got an unusual name. But you're going to get a very good look at your first boss fight right now. This is also obviously a battle arena. Now, he's got this sword in his body. He won't move until you pull this sword out. And I don't believe there's any way forward until you pull that sword out, so this boss fight is inevitable. Now, getting a few quick shots in before he starts moving around too much, that's just a thing from experience. Now, he's got a big, heavy strikes that reach a great distance. All Dark Souls bosses, they're all hard from the get-go. There's no real leeway. I do think this is probably one of the harder ones, particularly if you haven't played Dark Souls before. I think there's a bit of a presumption in this game that you're familiar with the previous games, at least in terms of gameplay. It's like they're trying to up the challenge and try to surprise you in most of the battles that you play. So I pity the people who haven't played these games before. That said, it's still fair. It's unfair, but it's fair, if you know what I mean. And this guy, he's beatable. I think I got him on my second attempt. If you can see now, his life is not even halfway down yet. So yeah, as you can see, he does a lot of prods with that giant halberd, if that's what you'd call it. I'm sure it's got a more specific name. And he also does his big wide arcs. They do a reasonable amount of damage, and here's the thing that they're doing a lot more in Dark Souls, and particularly Bloodborne. You take them down to half-life, as you can see right now, and then they transform into this extra difficult beast. This one is tricky because it's really hard to see what it's doing. I would just get in close and try to circle around behind it. Fairly common strategy these days. You just got to really time your dodges and just hope that you're getting the timing right. It's so hard to tell what move he's doing, except for this one here. When he does that one, I actually look forward to it because he just rises up really tall and he comes slamming down. And I said I like that move, but he just killed me with it. Yeah, it is basically probably the clearest move that he does that you can see what he's doing, so you can really time that dodge at least. So here I'm just fast forwarding the run back to the boss, so you don't have to waste time watching me go back. I slowed it down here because I did a pretty sick takedown. There you go. And finish this guy off and into the fog for another shot at the big guy. So now that that was my first ever go that you just saw. Now here's my second ever go. I'm not here to show off or anything, guys. I know a lot of these people who do these Let's Play this want to show off how awesome they are at fighting bosses. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to be laughed at and just for you to, see what you're in for. And that's totally fine by me. So I'm going to kind of repeat the same or a similar strategy here. As he's just getting in close seems to be a good technique because his weapon does such great reach that he often tends to miss you if you're tucked in, close under his arm. So already he's down to like half-life, and even I'm like nearly dead. Had to do some evasive Bloodborne maneuvers right there. Even now I should have healed up a bit more, but 2/3 of life will do for now. So here's that move again. Yeah, so if you manage to dodge that, see that one didn't take off damage. I think I just got hit by the ground stomp part of that, but it didn't actually damage me. If it comes down on top of you though, it's pretty devastating. As you can see, it just lays you flat in your back and takes off a lot of life. But it's a good one to avoid. It's so, yeah. Also that big claw arm as well, that's probably one of the other things that's quite visible as well. If he does anything else though, like, I can't even tell what this thing is. It's like a rat, crow, or chicken arm with human. I don't know. These monsters are getting really quite interesting, I think is the way to put it. So Judex Gundyr is his name, and I finally got him with a few prods in the back, and down he goes. Got a coiled sword, and a little trophy to go with it, so I'm all happy about that. Ember restored. I don't quite understand the Ember element of it yet. I've only played through this once, and this is my playthrough, so I'm still learning myself. I'll just explain things that I know as I see them. So, new bonfire right there, which is great. Thought I'd just use it to refresh. But all I can do so far is just leave. It's just like a little respawn point at this time. And there's my recollecting my souls from before. So now I've got a fairly decent collection going on there, about 7,500 souls. And here's some of the more of that scenery. There's the castle as well. That's just amazing. And I always stop to take a look at the scenery. It's just I don't know, weird fetish of mine. And the daunting classical giant doors, which opens up into a new area. One thing about this game as well, which you're probably interested to know, is that in terms of enemy deaths, it's more like Dark Souls 1 than Dark Souls 2. Meaning, the enemies will not disappear after you kill them a certain amount of times. They will always be there, no matter how many times you do it. So you can't basically do a clear run to the boss. You have to do it like you did it in Dark Souls 1. That's good for level grinding. If you find a place where you can grind up some levels, that's great. But obviously, it's annoying if you've got to do a boss run and there's a lot of enemies in front of you before you can get there. Now here I'm just having a brief look at my inventory. This again is a situation where I've just kind of hovered over them, and I put the descriptions up, or the basic descriptions up, so that you can pause it and take a closer look at some of the starting equipment and a few of the pickups that I've grabbed along the way. But it's just for a little little bit of personal analysis in case you just want to check some of this stuff out. I don't have very much yet, obviously, but that's just, you know, a brief look at the starting equipment for me anyway. I don't actually equip any of this stuff. I've just stuck with the defaults pretty much the entire way through. Hopefully I'll skip through this so we can move on. There we go. And there's also there's the same 5 quick slots that you have for you know, quick use out in the battlefield. My character, this Herald character, is slightly like a cleric as well. Here I'm experimenting with I can't remember what it's called. I missed it. Sorry, it's like the charm. So I swapped out the shield for this charm, and it gives me a little bit of a boost. That works with the L2 and the L1 button, or LB and left trigger. I can't remember. It depends on which controller you're using. But it's pretty minor boost. It's not. Obviously, you can find better ones as you go. Yeah, there you go. It's a talisman. So if you want to take a look at it, that's what it does. In fact, that's why I was curious. That's why I'm checking it out right now, just to find out what it does. Unfaltering prayer, temporarily increase poise while casting miracles, preventing enemy attacks from interrupting prayer, works well equipped in either hand. So yeah, it helps you with, you know, spell casting, and poise is always a very handy thing in this game, particularly if you use shields, because it prevents you from getting staggered. So moving on now, as you can see, this way I thought was the right way, but it's actually just a way to a little item. Here's one of these shield guys that I think I struggled with. Again, this is really, it's nothing new fighting these guys with shields. I should really, you know, handle it better, but well, I guess we got through them okay. There's just a little item at the tail end of here, and a dead end, I believe. Homeward Bone. Yes, so backtrack we go. And I think the Homeward Bone, actually I don't know what the Homeward Bone does. It's something I don't use very often, that's for sure, but it's definitely not a new item. So, I mean, I had a few of those in the past. So the way is up to move forward. There's also a guy standing on the ledge there, which I came back and kicked off the edge, which was quite a funny thing to see. Now, see the 2 paths up here? If you go left, you'll actually be attacked by a lot of enemies, which you'll see right now. You can actually skip all this drama and action if you just go up the right path and just run past them all. But for the sake of, you know, trial and error, we can, we're kind of forced to check this one out. So these are the 2 guys that are sitting there. If you try to walk past them, they will stand up, so it's good to finish them off while they're at a disadvantage. Here's another one of these shield guys that are always slow to bring down. Best way I find is, if you can't find a gap, is just to hit it with a held down R2 strike. Now this is not the way you're supposed to go. There's 2 paths here, or maybe even 3. I don't think I checked the 3rd one. But if you go left here, which I'm doing, this takes you off to somewhere else later in the game. Oh, sorry, it's down here. You do not want to go down here at this point in time, because you're about to find out why. I'll let you see for yourself. Here I am just kind of exploring a few nooks and crannies, see if I can see anything of use, which I don't. These guys up here, they're just standard guys, but they gave me a bit of trouble because they're on an elevated height, and that thrust that they use with that sword really got me in trouble. I think, you know, every now and then you really stumble across someone that you really shouldn't stumble with. These 2 caused me a bit of pain. But I think we got there in the end. I need to face more trouble up ahead. This area is very interesting because you're going to see something very soon that you might find familiar if you played Dark Souls 1. And I'm not going to spoil it because we're going to see it very soon. But it's only about a minute away, so try to prevent yourself from pushing that fast forward button for now if you can. Yeah, here's me and my curiosity getting the better of me. I just like to explore, and that's the thing about this game as well. It just seems to be so much more open than previous Dark Souls games. I don't know if it so much interlinks as well as it has in terms of level design, where you open a door, it leads to a place that you're familiar with. Bloodborne was fantastic like that. It would use one bonfire to link to several different aspects, different areas. This one is just really open, and it has so many multiple paths that you can take that you just don't even know which one you want to start down. You just know that, you know, once you go one way, you want to invest some time into it before you make up your mind. Here's the deceptive trouble that I was warning you of. This little skinny, scrawny guy, he's actually a very high-level character and will smash you, as you're about to see. I think I survived the ordeal, but I had to learn the hard way. Now, I go with a shield build. It's what I've always done, pretty much. I usually do shield with a light right-hand weapon and a bit of basic magic to get me through the game. That's what I usually pretty much do each time, quite successfully. I noticed in this game, if you go with a shield build, it really particularly drains your stamina quite a lot in this game when you try to block. So I don't know if it's trying to push more of the Bloodborne defensive style. I hope it's kind of well balanced, because obviously I only got to try this character out. I didn't get to try any other builds. So I found that using a shield was sometimes helpful, but most often not helpful. Now, Firelink Shrine. This is from Dark Souls 1, as you can see here, and this artist interpretation, you may remember it. I chucked those images in there because just so you can remember. This was the place, the main encampment that you would go to in Dark Souls 1. Except, if you look at it, it's all built and well structured right now. It's all put together. It's like a, you know, proper Gothic cathedral structure. In Dark Souls 1, it's all broken and destroyed. So I don't know what the story is. I don't know why that's the case, but it does semi-preclude that this game might actually be set at a time before Dark Souls 1, or before whatever happened to the Firelink Shrine obviously, you know, pay close attention to the story, and the background you may learn is probably already out there as far as I know, but I just found that very interesting. Now, we're going to spend quite a bit of time here. This lady here, I'm sorry, catching up with my words, this is the lady that you go to level up. So we finally found this lady, and there's usually one per game that you go to level up with. Now, if you look here, we've got Vigor. We've got a few different statistics. We've got Vigor, which is the attribute required to wield powerful... Oh, sorry, I missed it. Oh, no, here we go. Yeah, to wield advanced weapons, and improves attack strength, reduces spellcasting time, reduces damage when falling. Oh no, sorry, we are well ahead. My bad. I'm just going to let you read these ones because I'm just a bit behind with my words. So if you want to read up on what the statistics do in this game, just hit the pause button. Maybe just rewind it in case I was, you know, causing it to get delayed there. Hit the pause button, read it, and that will tell you what the stats do. There's a little bit of change there, although as you can see, most of them are kind of the same. I think there's kind of reworded a few different things, but essentially you'll have a pretty good idea of what you're looking to build. And as you can see, I just went with, I think it was Vigor and Stamina, was it? I think, or Endurance, sorry. So wandering around here, there's a few people to talk to. There was, you know, the very sad knight that I saw just before the girl. This old lady, I think she's a seller. She sells you some things, or you can sell some things to her, I believe, as well. So, and you get some souls for it, which is a hidden advantage because most of the games don't have this kind of thing readily available for you. So now I'm talking very slow. I mean, obviously, you know, there's no sound in this recording, so you know, I'm just going with some background music for you. But obviously, you know, they all talk. You get all the sound effects. It's all very doomy and gloomy and very moody. Here's a few of the items you can purchase. So a lot of things off the bat you can get started with. Again, I've just tried to kind of go very quickly over the top of them because, you know, I don't want to bore you too much with it. But yeah, if you want to pause it, you can have a look, see what the item does, what kind of stats they got. So yeah, I'm just spending a bit of time here just so you can get like a good look at, you know, what you're in for, what things you can buy. It should hopefully kind of plan your strategy when you're going to purchase the game and buy it yourself, and or presumably, and you know, because there's so many different types of builds you want to work towards. This is only early stages of the game, I get it, but it's good to know roughly what you're in for. And here's the guy that I think is also from the previous Dark Souls. The blacksmith. I'm not sure if the same blacksmith was in Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2. I know they look very similar, and this guy looks like that guy, so it could very well be the same guy, and in which case he'd be very, very old man. But it's very handy having this guy there. He does more things than usual off the bat. So reinforced weapon, infused weapon, repair equipment, a lot Estus, reinforced Estus flask. So yeah, the Estus flask thing I believe is a new thing, at least for the blacksmith to be doing. This thing confused me a little bit. I still don't know how it works. You can move the Estus flasks off and on. I don't know why you'd want to move the Estus flasks off. All I knew was that I had a spare one and I wanted to put it on my collection of 3, so now I have 4. You can repair equipment, that's pretty obvious. This is reinforcing weapons, so this, if you have the necessary Titanite shards, you can make your weapons better. Infuse, you can. This is with gems. So the fire gem that I had there, if I had enough souls, which I just spent, unfortunately, I could have infused that fire gem and given it some firepower, so to speak. Unfortunately, I didn't get to test it in this build, but that'll be something fun for you to experiment with if you get a chance to playing it yourself. So yeah, a lot of things to do with this guy now. He's much more valuable. I mean, he was always quite valuable before, but now he's extra valuable. Now, this place, as you can see, is huge. I spent ages just wandering around and not really sure where to go. So I thought I'd just fast forward it to give you a rough scope of how big this place is. In the end, I ended up getting lost actually a bit. Came back here, kind of cut the video, and got right here to set a bonfire and get ready to enter the next area, which we will just have to rest here to transport to. Before we go, I just want to quickly show you that there's a few extra things you can do here as well. You can attune your spells, organize your storage box now, and burn an undead bone shard. So yeah, there's a few obvious things that you've done before. So next up is the High Wall of Lothric. Thanks for watching this video. You can move on to part 2. Thanks for your time, and stay tuned with Gamebug.com.au.